What is the best revenge on a cheating partner? This is what my dad did. My mom cheated on him with the dad of a family she was a nanny for. In the divorce, she got half his pension and primary custody of my brother and I. Then she spent the next decade telling us a story that they split because my dad was too cheap about money and it led to too many arguments. Despite all of that, he ending up remarrying with an old flame from high school who owns a lucrative heating and air business that allows them to live quite comfortably. They bought a big plot of land in the countryside and started a horse and cattle farm like he always wanted. Now he's happier than I've ever seen him. My mom still doesn't know that I know all of this, and I go back and forth about confronting her on it. My wife left after I had a health issue so she could enjoy her life. I recovered, joined a gym, joined a whip dancing club and got out with friends at least 4 nights a week, took my grown kids out fishing on the weekends, dated some, but more importantly made a lot of lady friends that really helped raise my self-worth. 11 years later, I married a fantastic woman who makes my life wonderful. We've been together for almost 30 years now, and she told me she owes my ex a debt of gratitude for making me available. My ex quickly married a bar hookup who refused to work and she had to support them both. She's still unhappy with her life, so as far as I'm concerned, the best revenge is to forget they even exist and enjoy your life. From a person who's been cheated on by 2 different partners, the best revenge is no revenge. Start taking care of yourself more. Go to a movie or dinner by yourself. Maybe pick up an exercise plan, and begin appreciating the fact that you can find happiness all by yourself. They may never regret their behavior, and that's not for you to ponder. Going to bed every night with a clear conscience knowing that you did your best and still have love in your heart is a beautiful thing. Be well, friend. I was cheated on by my high school sweetheart during our first year of uni, 3-year relationship. We split up, but I persuaded her to get back together to give it another try and make up for the lost trust. When we got back together, I cheated on her in the same circumstances just so she knew how it felt. She was devastated. It was my plan all along to give her a dose of her own medicine. Years later I do regret it, but at the time it was the perfect plan. An ex-GF about 10 years ago emailed me to say it wasn't working out and that she had met the unconditional love of her life. Something she told me I was lol. So, needless to say, I was a bit hurt, but not much I could do about it. I chewed on it for a while and got really pissed off the more I thought about it. I eventually moved on with life, and basically forgot about her entirely. Like pushed so far out of my mind and memories that I legit never thought about her at all. I ended up running into her several years afterwards working at a hotel reception desk and straight up didn't even notice her. She was acting a little bitchy and I didn't know why and chalked it up to her having a rough day or something. Got my key and got settled in my room. The next morning I was coming out to get ready to head to work and was in the lounge area where they have the waffles and shit, and she taps me on the shoulder. I assume she worked all night, and proceeds to challenge me, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. If I did something to offend you, I'm so sorry, but who the F are you? Or something to this effect. And then she said, I'm so glad I married, blank, and not you. You're such a piece of shit. And then I was like, oh. As the light finally came on, she looked like she was very miserable in life, and that made me very, very, very happy. She was a real tool. Looking back on it, I am kind of proud of myself that I managed to completely move on with my life, that I didn't even remember what she looked like. Lol, I am amazed that she expected me to dwell on her as if she was the greatest thing that ever happened to me and that I lost her. Like it seems she almost expected me to dwell on it for years and be depressed about it. As if that wasn't enough. I met a woman in Germany who is like the female version of me. It's pretty awesome. Funny how life works out when you just go with the flow, eh? I must say, I found it funny 5 years ago when I read Go to Dinner Alone. Go see a movie alone, enjoy your own company and learn to wake up and feel good all by yourself. When my last relationship ended, I said F it, I'll try. It was one of the best movie experience ever. I just enjoyed it so much. Dinner not so much, but still a great introspection. All in all, I figured I could be happy by myself, which made me realize I don't need someone. I am just also happy to share my life with someone else and make them happy. I recommend to anyone to at least try those silly experience at least once, plus every other thing you could do to work on yourself. I personally also started my gym journey, eating better, sleeping more, taking time for me, sticking to promises, doing the things I set out to do. All of those are also important when facing tough times. Acting like they never existed. If you find out they cheat, don't engage. Ignoring people is the most effective, most painful mental trick you can play with someone. You'd be surprised how many people you can manipulate if you just simply pretend they're not there. Egos are fragile. So when I was in my 20s, I was with this girl I really cared about. Thought it was really going to last forever. Beautiful, sweet, smart, independent. I mean, I got a real sense she wanted to be with me and not needed to be with someone. Made me feel great. I one day caught her effing another dude. I was absolutely devastated. But instead of yelling, screaming and acting violent or angry. I just said oh shit, sorry and left. Never picked up the phone again. Never went to get my stuff or any other nonsense. Just cut her off. She called and left voicemails and texted me. They started out as you have to let me explain to please give me another chance to the fact that you showed no emotion or anything and have just cut me off shows you never cared about me anyway. Eventually she said she hated me and was glad she did it. Then she would apologize and say please talk to me. It was pretty obvious that my reaction was eating her up inside. It hurt. But you move on, it's fine. In the end she wasn't the right one. I'm happily married with 2 kids and 2 dogs and a house now. Life is full of ups and downs. Don't let them define you. I dunno about best, mind you. But, had a GF that cheated on me with her ex. The ex's sister hated her, so she slept with me despite them both. Instead of focusing on revenge, put all of your energy into improving your life, stay sober, stay focused, get therapy, start a journal, exercise, and if you have a job, get serious about your work. These are the things I did after my partner of 12 years cheated on me. I'm proud to say that as a result I've lost 40 pounds. I've had several promotions, upgraded my house, bought a new Jeep, built a hot tub fort in my backyard, and I now take regular vacations. Now she's very unhappy with her choices, and unfortunately stuck in an unhealthy relationship with the man she left me for. I almost feel sorry for. Nah, not really lol, girl bye. Just wanted to apologize to OP, especially if you're asking this question because you're going through it. I didn't mean for it to seem like I came here to brag about my accomplishments post-divorce. I just wanted to show you that there are better paths than revenge, because revenge usually leads to negative outcomes. Choose a path for yourself that will have positive outcomes. If you want to talk to someone who can relate to what you're feeling, I'm around. I'll be glad to tell you about the revenge I almost took, and why I'm so happy that I didn't go through with it. Take care, and stay strong. My wife was abusive and a complete narcissist. She then admitted to me one day of having an affair with a married guy from work for years. Fast forward 5 years. I haven't spoken to her since. I make 5 times what I made when I was with her. I'm in the best shape of my life, relocated to a new area, and I'm remarried to an amazing woman. Calling it quits with that loser was the best gift I could have ever received. I had an ex-BF who cheated on me and he ended up marrying his affair partner. About 6 months after that, I got what was basically his dream job. We both worked for the same company. Do not recommend. I didn't know it at the time but learned later that he'd applied for it as well and had lobbied hard for it, but I won it and it was announced globally that I'd gotten the promotion. He left the company shortly after that. I hope it was because I got the promotion he wanted. He married the aforementioned AP and they had a couple of kids, which I found out because our community newspaper, really mostly adverts from local businesses with a couple of articles about locals and such, did a piece on working moms, featuring my ex's new wife among others, talking about how hard it is to contribute to the household without spending all your income on daycare, and other conundrums. The article talked about how she'd tried about half a dozen MLM schemes and caused problems in her marriage because she was spending more than she was bringing in. All she wanted was a legitimate work-from-home job so she could make an income and stay home with her children. The thing was, less than a year after I got my promotion to my ex's dream job, it transitioned to a full-time work-from-home position. I ended up never working in my company's office building ever again. So not only did I have his dream job, but I had her dream scenario of getting to work from home. But I got to stay home with my cat. It was glorious. I can only hope this information trickled back to him somehow. My ex-wife wasn't cheating, but judging me by the lifestyle of others. Everything wasn't good enough, not enough money, not enough traveling, old car, etc. Everyone was doing better than us. I tried to explain and convince here that having a flat, a car and no debt is good by today's standards and that I am sick of being compared to her friends. Towards the end she was openly showing interest to her colleagues. She thought she could do better. We ended up divorcing. I met my current wife and have been much happier ever since. She on the other hand, now sees how good it was living after you leave. I woke up at 4:30 one morning and she was gone. Cheated on me after 5 years. I ended up reconnecting with an old friend. Been together a decade now with a great home, happy families, an amazing relationship and a beautiful marriage. Last I heard my ex had become a stripper, addicted to pain pills, cleaned up her act and had some dude knock her up and leave. I moved very far away from my home and friends to a place, so my wife could have horses. It was just not financially feasible where we were. I did manage to find a pretty good paying job after a year of being there. Downside, it was night shift. After a while I noticed that she was becoming distant. She no longer wanted to have sex with me or spend off time together. I was disturbed to say the least, but chalked it up to a rough patch that we needed to work through. Long story short, she was having an affair. I found out later that when I left for work, her boyfriend came in for the night. Thanks neighbors, you could have told me sooner. Anyway, we did get divorced. She insisted, I was still stupidly trying to make it work. I moved out. The boyfriend moved in and parked his Corvette in front of my house. But, I have to say I had no part in the ultimate revenge. It was karma. They were traveling on the very narrow and winding road that led to our country house, and they collided at high speed with another vehicle. The boyfriend spun the car, so the passenger side took the full force of the impact. Nice guy. He barely got a scratch. She was severely injured and was in the hospital with multiple broken bones and other injuries for weeks. Never wished her any harm or even tried to get revenge of any kind. But she did this to herself. BTW. The boyfriend dumped her and moved to another state to avoid her lawsuit. Karma is a bitch. I left my ex after I had grown tired of her cheating and general drink violent shittiness. I had just gotten a better job and went to stay with a friend as me and my ex lived together. My friend started dating a realtor and she got me into a house with a huge yard like me and her always talked about, started losing weight and gathering a group of lady friends and saw my friends a lot more. So I went from a downer in an apartment to a happy homeowner. She immediately boyfriend hopped until she got with someone who was a regular at the bar we both met at, while working, who eventually went to jail for pistol whipping her on regular basis, and then married a guy who she hates. I only know because it's been 4 years and she still randomly gets drunk and sends me a short novel of texts about how bad things are and how bad she misses us. I'm pretty sure I was cheated on once, when a girlfriend ghosted me, 6 months into our relationship, starting when she didn't show up for a date on her birthday. I saw her internet activity, but she didn't respond to me at all. I assumed she cheated on me and was too ashamed to face me. I quickly stopped caring about her as I started dating the girl I would eventually marry about 4 months later. The revenge was about a year later when I was walking through a transit station in my army uniform. I had gotten in much better shape and the uniform looked good on me. I saw her from across the station standing near my exit. She actually tried to wave at me but I didn't even turn to look, amazingly enough. I saw her 2 more times after that over the years. Maybe 4 years later, I was biking home along a very nice beach and I saw someone wave at me. I didn't bother to stop, but I kept a camera on my bike and watched the footage when I got home. It was her again. I saw her again maybe 5 years after that when I was leaving a store after exchanging a pair of pants for my wife. I was on the phone with her and she started walking towards me with a smile. I just sidestepped her and kept moving. Then my wife told me she wanted me to go back to the store and get a different size. I think the ex thought I didn't see her the first time, so she tried approaching me again, sidestepped again. Then the third time after getting the correct size of pants, I went back by the same spot and saw her sitting on a bench looking sad. We locked eyes and I just laughed and walked away. Wasn't me but my neighbor. He came home a few days early from deployment to surprise his wife for their anniversary. He walked into her and his best friend naked in their bed. He threw both of them out the window, fortunately first floor, naked, into a snow-packed yard. He promptly also locked them out of the house. This was Fairbanks, Alaska in January, so it was about -50 outside, which is damn cold. I was out with my dogs and happened to witness the whole thing. I was dying of laughter. His command got called. Military police were called. She was given some clothes and went to her mom's house and we never saw her again. I think he got the good end of the deal. He got out of that marriage with no kids, no alimony, and command didn't read him an Article 15. He got a divorce and owed her nothing. His buddy, also active duty, got charged with adultery, which got him busted down to an nothing quicker than you can blink, lost his pay and got confined to the barracks for a year. My neighbor told me everything. He was more than willing to spill the tea on that situation.